with that. That's why I'm here, because
You disagree.
Yes, but I like to go into the wolves' den. I don't like to preach to the choir.
How does it? What evidence do you have that it is divisive? And do you have anything that would back up this assertion?
Yes, I think that women are very often, devalued on the show. I think that the show.
What does it? Oh my God, you're all over the fucking place.
I think that the show.
Your claim is it broadly like societally divisive to the viewers or to the audience?
Sure. So I'll put
what does that have to do?
One example.
What does that have to do with the women at the table?
One example. I'm very impressed at the show's ability to gather this kind of an audience. There's a lot of women here that do sex work, right? And they're a very small percentage of the population. So they're not an accurate representation at all of most women.
How's that
most
relevant?
women are not
irrelevant.
Most women
I'm
are not.
gonna be like a lawyer. When the
most women are not sexually
you know how lawyers just like
irrelevant.
What are the other things? Irrelevant.
Yes. Most women are not sexually promiscuous. Most women
yes.
not.
Hold on. That's not true.
Yeah. What do you consider promiscuity?
Right?
Not just my opinion.
Well, hang on. Let her define it. What is promiscuity? How many bodies is promiscuous?
I can't put a number on it, but
so then how can you say most women aren't that if you can't put a number on it?
I think the point of
I
the
will
show,
say that I need you to answer the question.
Sure. What was your question?
When you say promiscuous, what does that mean?
Having sex outside of solid relationships. I think that is being more sexually liberated or promiscuous. Yes.
Okay. Now I'm not asking about more. I'm asking what is promiscuous?
Anything that, one night stands or, unprotected sex or, just sex.
So as long as a
random
woman's having
individuals.
Protected sex, she's not promiscuous?
No, I'm saying additional examples to that. I think the ideal should be sex in a committed relationship where you first vet the person. So
if a woman's had sex with 20 men, do you consider that promiscuous in and of itself?
If I ask that question to an 80-year-old woman and she tells me 20, I'd probably be like, probably not, Grandma. You had your years.
Okay, so 20 bodies is not promiscuous.
In 80
so 20 bodies is not necessarily promiscuous.
No, would you say
hang on, 30 bodies?
It depends. Again, don't want to be the person to judge that, but my original question was...
Well, hang on. The original question doesn't make sense unless we have an answer to this question, because we don't know what you mean by promiscuous.
Or promiscuous?
Is it promiscuous?
I personally put that more on the promiscuous side, yes.
At about 30?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, but not 20?
If it's Grandma who lived her life...
She's 50. She's 50. Is a 50-year-old with 20 bodies promiscuous?
How about
she just won't take a stand on anything or put labels on anything. There's no point in arguing.
How about a 20-year-old? How about a 20-year-old who has 20 bodies?
I think that they made very bad choices.
Are they promiscuous?
Yeah.
How about 10 bodies?
At 20 years old,
Are they promiscuous?
I think so, personally, for my standards.
5 bodies.
I'm going to head out. I'm sorry. I do have to drive 2 hours, but I really enjoyed being on the show.
Do you want to stay for your notes?
My what?
Your notes.
We need to do your notes. I'm going to try to wrap this soon.
Yeah.
But my original point is...
Well, I answered the question. Hang on. Is 5 at 20 promiscuous?
This show doesn't help bridge the gender war
I think it
gap
does.
by telling men that most women are sex workers.
Well, hang on.
Whoa, again with the fucking straw man, bro.
It doesn't do that.
Or that this is
That's such a... Oh, my God,
Or that this is a valid representation of most women.
Let's make a bet. Repeat what you just said. This show says that most women are sex workers.
No.
Don't fucking lie. Repeat what you said.
And see the tone. Don't fucking lie.
Yeah, because you're lying about me. You're literally slandering my fucking show. You're lying.
I'm not slandering the show.
Yes, men have issues with lies. I know maybe you don't.
I
but
do.
Men. Okay, so repeat what you said.
I said that this...
And don't change it.
This show has mostly... a great
That's
percentage.
Not what you're such a fucking pathological liar. Repeat what you said.
This show gathers a surprisingly, a large amount of sex workers
That's
who
not what you
represent
said.
most
You're a
women.
liar.
Is that not
That's not what you said. You're a liar.
Is that not what
You're a
I
liar.
originally said and
No.
opened this entire
2 points.
conversation with?
2 points.
What did
Great
you-
straw man. You're a liar. Let me clarify.
Rewind the
She's
tape.
not a liar. That is what she said.
That's
No,
not
it's
what she
not.
said.
That is what I-
You're a fucking liar and a gaslighter.
Everybody
I'm
is.
not
So
gaslighting.
you're literally
Play it
gaslighting.
back.
I'll
Play it
tell you.
back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here- no, but let's do
We
a
should,
bet.
but
Yeah,
let's
we
do
should.
it.
We should
Will you
play it
pay
back.
me?
What she
You
said,
pay me
though.
$100,000?
I don't have $100,000, but I know that I opened
Do you have
up.
10 do you have
But I opened
$10,000?
up this argument by saying that a
no.
great majority of women in the show
That's
are
not
sex
what you
workers.
said.
That is what she said.
That is
And
not
are
what you said.
representative, and that
No,
is very
it's not a majority.
unrepresentative.
Hold on. 2 points.
Yes.
So first we'll get into the straw man. You were saying that I think that a majority of women are sex workers. Is that what she said,
If,
Andrew?
if I said that, if I
You
said
said
that,
that
Hang on, hang
if
on.
I
I'll
said
tell you.
that, I misspoke.
That's what you
what she
fucking
said is
said.
you're
If I said that, I
teaching
misspoke.
you're teaching men that the majority of men or women
women
are
are
sex
sexually
workers. No, you
promiscuous
said
and-
sex workers.
Oh, okay, so I misspoke there. Promiscuous.
And then
Sexually
okay,
promiscuous.
and so to that point,
'Cause they
permit
are.
when we say sexually promiscuous,
Sure.
what does promiscuous mean to you?
For me, for my standards,
Yeah.
I think it's having sex outside of committed, stable relationships. And
So if you've
the
had
i-
5, if you've had 10 stable,
and
yeah.
another additional qualifier
Yeah.
to that is that the point of those relationships is marriage, not just dating to date.
Okay, so
But wait,
you've had
wait.
10. Let's say you're 26. You've had 10 committed relationships. They all failed pretty quickly.
That's
Is that
very bad-
promiscuous? Is that promiscuous?
I think that's bad decision.
But is it
making.
promiscuous though?
And yes, I would qualify it as that.
Okay.
Personally,
7 at 26.
I don't know. At 26, it depends how early on you
The
started
whole. So here's the
relationships.
problem. What you're doing is you're utilizing.
Do you think it's high?
Yeah.
27
You're
and
utilizing.
20
Yeah.
7 and
Yes.
26?
Yes.
Can
Of
somebody
course
in
it
the
is.
Discord
Okay.
clip
What you're
it
doing
for
is
me?
you're
Put it
utilizing.
in the research
Okay.
tab.
You're utilizing
Put it in the research
equivocation.
tab. Somebody in the Discord.
You're utilizing equivocation. So when you say that you're teaching women that, or teaching men that women are promiscuous, right? And then you say most women are not promiscuous.
Yeah.
You fail to actually identify to us what the numbers are for promiscuity. So how could we even check the claim? Like if I were to say most women at
How about
25,
Brian
hang on,
Google it?
stop. If most women have a body count at 25 of above X,
Yeah.
would that mean that most women are promiscuous? You won't actually commit to that position.
I have my personal opinions on it, but you can Google, I guess, based on surveys, because there's no way to find this out for sure. But you could Google based on surveys how many average amount of sexual partners men
We
and
can.
women have had. And you can look that up. And then I am curious to know if you believe that number is high, the average amount per male, per female. And then we can have an honest conversation, because that number is actually not very high.
What is it?
I don't know. I think it's about 3, 4 per.
Are you trying to say
on
that
average.
modern society is
I don't
not
know what
promiscuous?
kind
3 or
of-
4.
That's
This
wild.
girl lives in Miami too. Those Miami girls are, that's crazy.
That is wild.
She lives in Florida. Bro, women will have a body count of
Just
10.
because you live somewhere does not make you.
Women will have a
promiscuous.
body count of 10 by the time they graduate high school.
Some
Not all
women.
not all women, but like a girl, a liberal girl.
Most women don't.
A liberal, hold on. In 2026, a liberal girl who goes to like, let's say a medium-sized college, by the time she's done graduated, not all women, to be clear.
Most women is my opinion. Why don't you Google what's based on surveys? What's the average body count? For?
Women, surveys are not helpful at all on this because
Well, because you can't have a factual.
10
at Yeah.
26.
Between 4 to 10 at 26. That's what he said.
that would be promiscuity.
Which, in your opinion, is.
Have you ever had a
is-
one-night stand?
No.
Of course, you wouldn't admit it on the show.
No,
You'd
but I
probably
have
lie,
not. So
right?
if you think
have you
I'm
ever? How about
lying-
this? Have you ever slept with a man or done anything sexual with a man within 24 hours of meeting him?
No.
Doubtful. In any case,
Okay, so again,
I'll
slandering
explain to you
my personal character.
Yeah. Well,
and,
just like
and
you
you're
slandered
lying
me.
too.
Yeah, just like you lied and slandered about me. So
What part of that? What did I say? that
yeah.
was a
So here's the
slanderous
slander.
lie?
You think that the
Why
majority.
don't you name it? Because
Yeah,
you just
I'm-
told me that I'm lying about one night
I'm
stands
about
and
to.
I'm not.
I'm about
So
to.
what did I
So
say?
yeah, the slander here is you're basically misrepresenting the guest selection that we have on the show. You claim that the majority of the guests we've had on the show are sex workers. This is just factually completely untrue. The minority of our guests are sex workers, and we've taken statistics on this.
Okay.
It's 15 to 20% of all our total guests are sex workers. Now you might look around and you're like, well, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We've had 2,000 guests on the show.
Okay.
Have you done record keeping? Have you looked back at all our shows and
I see
made a determination? Just because you see,
Yeah.
hold on, if this panel was all black people, would that mean we've only brought black people on the show?
No, absolutely not.
Right. So logically, just because we have sex worker, sex worker, sex worker, sex worker, sex worker,
That's a majority
and
already.
That wouldn't.
Plus the ones that
so,
left.
So because they're.
What was the percentage of this panel, Brian?
The women who left were not sex workers. So actually, we have a majority now, but the majority prior.
One of them was
Who? There were.
the bikini girl.
Kayla?
She sells photos of herself in bikini
wanna
Well-
on a sex worker website.
That's not sex.
I think it was
Passes?
like a
She-
passive.
It's like a family friendly
I think.
website.
Okay,
Weird.
maybe it's a gray area for her, but the other girl who left, not a sex
workers
worker.
use it.
Yes.
In any case, I don't see how that would establish. So here is this the logic? Well, the majority of the women tonight are sex workers. Ergo, the majority of all the guests you've ever had on the show must be sex workers.
From what I've seen in the past, yes. I have not followed the Whatever podcast
Okay,
from its initial
so
stages.
we keep statistics.
So maybe at the initial stages, it was a lot less, I guess the percentage of women that work in the sex industry, it was a lot less. But as the podcast went on, then maybe.
Hang tight for the rest. We need to do your notes.
Then maybe you realized you probably get a lot more views by having women
It's not
on
true at all.
that have a
It's
past
a total
in
straw
working in the
man.
sex
It's again
industry.
a total straw man. It's a total fabrication.
No,
it's
I
a
see
total lie.
clips on social media,
God.
and they're
It's so impossible to argue with somebody like this. You've seen clips. This is the metric I would use. Our most viral moments were not with women who were sex workers. Some of our best discussions were not necessarily with women who were sex workers. So again, it's a total misrepresentation. It's a total straw man. And I'm providing the facts to you directly as the person who oversees this show, who does the guest booking, who does the guest procurement. It's 15 to 20%.
15 to 20%.
That is correct.
Which is still much higher than the less than 1% of women that
That's a
actually
great
are
Maud and
sex
Bailey. Thank you for
workers,
shifting
right?
the goalpost, Maud and Bailey.
No, that's a big percentage difference.
Yes, it is higher than the population. Although technically, if you're looking at like between the ages of 18 to 25, something like 10% of.
My original argument
Hold
was
on.
that this,
Stop
this
interrupting.
podcast misrepresents the actual amount of women that do have these
No,
kinds
it
of
doesn't.
backgrounds.
I see.
No, it doesn't.
As far as representation goes, you
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. Here's the thing. You're exploring modern dating, right? Now, did you see what you did there? You said that the podcast does not adequately represent the amount of total women who are sex workers. But what is the amount of sex workers in the age demographic that Brian has on? And is that overrepresented? Because that would be the real question, wouldn't it?
The age
Like
demographics
for
that you want
hang on,
older.
stop. I'll explain. Okay, so let's assume that the average age of the woman who comes on here is between 18 and 22. Let's just assume that. Do you think that the odds of them being a sex worker greatly decrease when you're not actually modeling that against the entire population of women, but only to 18 and 22-year-olds?
I think most
Answer that
people-
question.
I don't know those.
Exactly.
I don't know
So
those
how could you say it's an
statistics.
overrepresentation? You
Yes,
don't even know.
But that's
Because
not her
most
original
women that are,
position,
most of the women that do work in the sex industry are also in the younger category for sure.
So how do you know? What can you look up real quick, Brian? What is the actual percentage of women in that age bracket who are
sure.
sex workers?
So I actually
That would be
much
a great
higher.
number.
I know it
to know.
offhand. So it's 18 to 24. It's 10%. So
10%.
Of women 18 to
To
35, or to what age?
18 to 24 who are sex
18% of women are sex workers.
I see.
Is that a statistic
No,
that you
she said
stand by?
10%.
Say it again.
I said
He-
18. Okay. Women between the ages of 18 to 24, 10% of them have OnlyFans or are sex workers.
That sounds like a very that sounds like a wrong statistic and an over exaggeration. But I don't have a laptop in front of me or my phone to verify those claims. So
she has to question all of our stats, but we have to unquestioningly accept every single bullshit that she spewed
but
tonight.
can you at least admit that within that age group, it's going to be much higher than the sample against the entire population of women?
Very attractive.
Then how would you even know if it's an oversampling in comparison to the age group, which is most commonly represented on whatever?
Nathan, can you just ask ChatGPT?
Yes.
Here's the question you're going to ask. % of women 18 to 24 who do OnlyFans.
Or sex work in general. You can make it broader.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just keep it to OnlyFans, which would probably lower the percentage. My AI overview here says, recent data estimates that approximately 1.2 to 1.4 million women aged 18 to 24 in the U.S. are active creators on OnlyFans. This represents roughly 10 to 14% of all women in that specific age group. Nathan, can you pull it up?
One platform.
Oof.
I would love to see that.
Some social posts and community estimates suggest that around 1.2 to 1.4 million American women aged 18 to 24 have OnlyFans accounts. If you assume there are about 10 to 10.7 million U.S. women in that age group, that would imply roughly around 10% to 14% of OnlyFans.
Wait, I'm confused. 10 to 14%, and isn't it only about 15%?
15 to 20, but it's closer to 15.
Wow, that sounds like it's completely a representation, then, doesn't it? Boy, you fucked that one up.
No, I thought.
Boy, you fucked that one up,
I
lady.
thought the number. I will admit, I thought the number was a lot.
And by the way,
lower.
it's actually even better because not all of the OF girls who come on are between the 18 to 26 percentile. So because of that, it actually would lower the amount of OnlyFans girls in that percentile. So it actually is very possible that he roughly has exactly the representation of OnlyFans girls on versus non-OnlyFans girls for the age demographic.
Not if you count the age bracket of women that you have here. I'm 32. She's 36. You said. So why don't you increase the age bracket and check the?
Are either of you
again?
sex workers?
No.
Okay, so then it seems like
The
you're
percentage
representing
would be a
it
lot
just
lower.
and it is. It's 0%.
Look,
It's 0% right now.
So again, out of the women here, we go up to the age of 36.
see,
got a special-
So why don't you
talent
put
over
that
here.
same? So why don't you put that same age
have a special
bracket
talent?
right now
Hold
on your laptop? The youngest girl.
but
and
now
the
we're
oldest
getting
girl.
now we're getting into the
Oversee.
weeds. You're shifting the goalposts.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you
This is
are.
not a
You're.
progressive conversation.
Hold on.
is a
I'm
numbers
almost done.
conversation.
I'm almost done. So, man, let me see. This is what's frustrating. Like, if I'm going to engage, can you guys just let me speak and you don't have to chatter? Because now we're wasting 5-10 seconds. Okay. Your original claim, which was false, was that I'm suggesting that the majority of women are sex workers, or that the majority of the guests that we have on this show are sex workers. It's not the majority.
They definitely.
You said majority.
If I did, then I
You were
misspoke. But it is definitely.
misspoke. You
But
were
it's
mistaken.
definitely an overrepresentation of sex workers.
Okay, but so even if it's
with women.
5% over, it's like, so who gives a fuck?
If it's
Who gives a fuck?
5%
Whatever.
would be very
Don't care.
low. I agree. 5% would be very low.
Who cares?
So let's put the bracket then between 18
I'm not
to
interested in
36.
exploring the data further.
And actually-
you were just incorrect.
And actually looking up the number, I think it'd be closer to maybe 5% or 2% of the population, and that's a small percentage.
Are we
Yeah,
gonna include
but
80-year-olds?
why do you-
That's
yeah, why do you
ridiculous.
keep on?
Not 80-year-olds, but you have on average up to 40 maybe on this podcast, so that would greatly
But
decrease
I'm
the
not
percentage.
attempting to paint women in this light as if they're all sex workers. I can sit here right now, so if you're just curious as to my actual position, the majority of women are not sex workers. I don't know the exact numbers total if we were to look at a different age range, 18 to 34, 40, whatever. It's a small minority of women who are sex workers.
Yes.
That's my position. So I'm not putting out there, by the way, guys, like 70% of women are degenerate OnlyFans girls. That's not what I say. So you're contending with
agree.
a
I've never
position
said that you said that.
that isn't even forwarded by me.
I've never said that you said that. I say that this
You
show
literally
overrepresents the amount of women in the industry, and
We
that's
do not
just
represent
Oh my God,
women.
who
Well, we
In
haven't
my
even
research-
demonstrated that,
Represent women as a
though.
whole.
In my
In
as sex
my
workers,
research of your
honestly.
podcast and watching different videos and clips, I personally just noticed that there were a lot of sex workers, and I thought that
maybe you cast sex workers preferably because it is, entertaining or
Because it's a
interesting.
huge sampling of the population who are in dating age of 18 to
Yep,
26.
dating age, yep.
It's a massive,
surge.
massive percentage of the population of women who are in the dating age of 18 to 26. So not only is it not a massive overrepresentation, which we just literally established 5 seconds ago, because we know the percentage of total sex workers who've been on. We could even reduce that by 18 to 26 and it would still be less.
If somebody on the street asked me, hey, can you describe the whatever podcast? What kind of people do they bring on? What
Then you
is
would
their
be wrong.
backgrounds? Do you think that it'd be wrong and people would just, say that no, they don't bring
That's
a greater
that's a fallacious
representation
argument. You're making an
of
appeal to
sexual
majority.
workers?
Can
You're
I add
making an appeal to
something?
majority.
Disingenuous,
What's disingenuous is making an appeal to majority.
Wait, I got the perfect thing. Did you
Yes.
vote for Trump?
I did.
Are you okay? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so if I were to poll the majority of people in California as to do you think that Trump is a rapist, they'd probably say yes. Is
Okay.
it true that he is a rapist?
No.
Okay.
Okay,
great.
so just because, if I were to poll the majority of Californians, hey, do you think ICE there's massive amounts of misconduct amongst ICE law enforcement officers? And they're like, yeah, I think that there's a lot of there's a lot. Would that actually prove that it's true or mean it's true?
No, but you're making my argument for me. The fact that just because a majority of people say that they believe Trump is a rapist, it doesn't make it true. Just like if you have a larger representation of women with a sex background, it doesn't mean that most women are promiscuous as a whole.
That would
You're-
be your argument.
Wait,
That would
no,
be
no, no.
Brian's argument.
Your argument that you forwarded was, well, do you think if I ask people on the street, what they think the whatever podcast is about, and if it has a whole bunch of OnlyFans girls on it, and
You
it's
think
the
they'd
majority?
say no?
Okay, so regardless of if
Even if they did.
does it mean it's true?
Yeah, that's the question. Is
So
it true?
if people out there on the street say, yes, I think that a majority of the women who go on the whatever podcast are OnlyFans girls, does it mean it's true?
You have the numbers, I don't. So you're telling me
Answer the question.
You're telling me it's not
Answer
true.
the question.
You're telling me it's not true because based on the entirety of the show's history, that has not been the case, and you have the stats, so you could
That
be
is
right. From the
Not
shows,
just I could be right, I am right.
okay, from the shows that most people have seen recently, I'd say that the brand of this podcast is having women with a background
That's
in some
not
kind
the
of sex.
brand. How could that possibly be the brand if the minority of our guests are sex workers? The majority of our guests are not sex workers.
Okay, well, I guess that's a PR issue. Might want to work on that.
Period.
Moving on. Moving on.
Moving on, please, for the
Logically
love of
incoherent.
God.
But so, okay, you do acknowledge that even if that's the perception doesn't mean truth.
Yep, absolutely. You have the numbers, I don't, and you're saying
But so
that
why
they're
would
not.
you have forwarded the argument of, well, what do you...
I don't understand. You can't possibly believe this because now the logical entailment of your argument is tens of thousands of people are going to think you're a hooker.
No, I think
Then
they-
why are you on a podcast where
think that
where
they-
everybody thinks only hookers go on the podcast?
Mostly. That's the PR. I'm telling you guys.
But what do you mean?
The
What-
image of
why
the
would you
PR
go
that
on a
have.
podcast that you think has the PR that only hookers go on
Because
if
I
you
like-
didn't want people to think you were a fucking hooker?
Because you sporadically do have women that aren't hookers. You've had Lila.
Oh,
You've
wait,
had Lila
that's
Rose
really
on.
weird.
You've had
Yeah.
The
excuse me.
PR
Wait, so the reputation...
The reputation
is that
is
I've-
only hookers go on.
You-
I better go on that podcast.
You've had Lila Rose on.
Holy
who is
Fucking
not-
brilliant. Boy, look at the big brain on Sam over here.
All right.
All right.
You've had Lila Rose on, definitely not a hooker. You've had my previous employer.
Now you're making
on,
Brian's
right?
argument.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, tell
He's
us
not
all
a-
about how the PR here
he's
is
not a
actually
hooker.
not that it's full of
She's
hookers.
debated for 12
He's
years,
not-
but she doesn't know the
He's
story.
not a
I love
hooker.
y'all.
Hey, Hey, we're not done with your notes. All right, here.
Do you want to?
Can we move on?
I'm going to your notes.
Yeah, we
right
have
now.
to move on.
I'll do.
Yeah,
I'll,
she's
I'll
not-
help fix your
she-
PR
yes, of
issue if you
course.
pay me for it.
Okay.
The PR issue that we can't have, or you wouldn't be here because you would think people would think you were a
No, I
hooker.
like going into the wolves' dens. If you can't tell.
You
me.
want people to think you're a hooker?
No, I think they'll figure out that I'm not.
Okay, let me go to